Hi, I'm Simon and welcome to ASTM 1894, also known as Standard Test Method for Static and Kinetic Coefficients of Friction of Plastic Film and Sheeting, but you can call it coefficient of friction. There's not much to go over for safety on this machine, but you have to have your safety glasses and lab coat while you're doing it. Next, you're going to have to obtain a sample from your instructor and then cut it down to size. Now the size you want is going to be roughly the same dimensions as this 200-gram weight that you put your samples underneath. Now those dimensions are 63 by 70 millimeters. Now we're going to go over the operation and setup of this machine. First, when you get over here, you got to plug the machine in, as always, and then you're going to want to take your sample and put it underneath this brick. You're going to want to make sure that the slide isn't too far back, like hanging all the way back here. You're going to want it about right there, and the sample located towards the end. You're going to want the string to be slack, so the scale still reads 0. Then, once you're ready to start, press the button, wait for the string to tighten out, and then take your reading from the inside scale, which would be the one right along that little white area. You're going to read from there, and each one of those lines is about 5. You're going to press stop, record your reading, and then switch your sample out for the next one. After each go on the coefficient of friction machine, you got to make sure it is 0. You can do that by just tapping this little switch back here and making sure it goes back to 0. And that's important because you want to get as accurate of a reading as possible. And if it's not on 0, it won't be accurate. Once you have all of your data recorded, it would look something like this. Now, when you're doing it in the actual lab, you'd have 5 different samples of 4 different materials, but for the sake of simplicity, we have one material with 5 different samples. Once you have all of this filled out, you'd start doing your calculations, which is the number you recorded divided by the mass of the block. Now, as said before, the mass of the block is 200 grams. So for this first one, you do 45 divided by 200, and then the number you'd get is the coefficient of friction. Once you're finished calculating all of those numbers, you'd want to take the average of all of them and then record that as the official coefficient for that material. You do that for all 4 of your materials, and then you'd be done for the lab.